Hey everybody, I am going to be doing a review of Creed. As you know, I've done two of these before, these video reviews, and I thought with Creed, being that I thought it was an excellent movie and a huge Rocky fan, I figured to give this one a shot. So, um, for those not familiar, Creed, and I'm going to cover the basic plot. I'm not going to go through the story or give anything away. Just cover the basic outlines of the film, and then discuss um, basically why I thought it was so great. Um, so the main plot of the film is you have Adonis Johnson, who is the illegitimate child of Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed, as you know, died in Rocky IV. Not sure if that was a spoiler. The movie came out 30 years ago. Sorry if you haven't seen Rocky IV, but yeah, Apollo dies um, via the hands of Ivan Drago in an exhibition match. Anyway, so the story goes that Apollo had a mistress, um, and this mistress, around the time that Apollo died, Adonis was conceived. I assume it was right before the fight, because I think it's 8 months later, Adonis was born, and his mom, I believe it's touched on in the film, had drug problems or just was a um, absent mom, and Adonis has gone through foster care in and out of juvie. And the movie starts off, we find him in juvie, and the woman who rescues him, that takes him in, is actually Mrs. Apollo Creed, Marianne. And she is the one to inform Adonis that he is the son of Apollo Creed. And from there, the movie jumps forward to present day. We see Adonis is a um, boxer by night, or not necessarily by night. He um, fights sort of underground as a boxer, trying to get experience, trying to make his name on his own. Goes by Adonis Johnson, does not use the Creed name, wants nothing to do with it, wants to make it on his own. And he ends up going to Philly when he decides he wants to fight full time to seek out Rocky Balboa, who, as he is always known, as the man who was best friends with his father. So he wants Rocky to train him, and Rocky's hesitant at first for his reasons, but he ends up training Adonis. And from there, the movie sort of just goes on a just emotional, depressing, then uplifting roller coaster. Again, I'm not going to give more away than that. You just have to see the movie. I'll tell you why it's so good and why I think it's going to get heavy Oscar consideration as one of the best pictures of the year. To start off, the director, Ryan Coogler. Now, for those that don't know, this movie only happened because of Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler is a director from, I believe, Northern California, whose debut film, Fruitvale Station, came out 2 years ago. And he had a passion project in mind to make a movie about the son of Apollo Creed. Or I believe originally it was the grandson turned into the son of Apollo Creed, where basically it would act as a sort of semi-Rocky 7, where Rocky would then train this, offspring of Apollo Creed. And has wanted to make this movie since, I think, he was a kid, a teenager, and he basically, after the success of his debut film, Fruitvale Station, had the opportunity to sort of get the ball rolling, and here we are. And without a doubt, the level of talent this man has in terms of directing as well as writing, because he did co-write the script, is just unbelievable. He films sequences in such a way where he draws you in, and it's like you're as if you're there in the moment, whether it be during a fight, whether it being in a smaller moment on screen. just a phenomenal job directing. I mentioned he's a writer. This movie probably is one of the few movies where I could tell in the theater at those moments where they the filmmaker wants you to cry. I will willing to bet pretty much everybody was crying. He is able to he directed his actors so well with the dialogue he had written in the script that the story just is so powerful and is presented in such a way where you just cannot help but get attached to these characters who you want to root for and see them succeed. So I just thought he being the reason this movie happened, just did an excellent job. And I mean, he couldn't have done it any better than probably anybody would have thought, and he just crushed it, to be honest. Um, as far as the actors, I'm going to leave the best for last. Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed. He, it's funny because I read he had never boxed before, but he trained for over a year for this movie. I've never seen a actor play a boxer this well. You've seen plenty of actors, trained to be boxers in the film. He looked like a professional fighter. Period. Sorry, Mark Wahlberg, Stallone, uh, anybody, Jake Gyllenhaal, even this past summer in Southpaw. Michael B. Jordan just did an you really thought he was a boxer. His physicality, the way he moved, as quick as he moved, his footwork, just how he would throw combinations and just everything involved. He played that part so well. On top of he is the main character of the story. He is the driving force behind the story. And he did such an excellent job with nailing the character where he has a flaws, but you can't help but root for him. And there's one scene in particular he has with Rocky or Stallone. I don't want to give anything away, but the emotion that goes through his face when he's just, you see why this guy is so angry and he has such a chip on his shoulder because he's been abandoned his whole life. And again, I don't want to give anything away, but Michael B. Jordan did an amazing job, and he frankly deserves some Oscar consideration um, for this movie. Um, Tessa Thompson, who plays the sort of love interest of Adonis, her character's name is Bianca. She's a filly, upcoming singer, who ends up meeting Adonis, and they end up sparkling a romance, and she gets involved with his life and his training, and involved with Rocky in terms of being there with him to help support him. And she played her role excellent. From what I've read, she spent like months in Philly to nail that Philly jargon, a John, or I'm not sure what the slang was, but she did a really great job with her role, and she definitely made a character who probably could have been, or maybe would have come off as sort of a one-dimensional character, but she really did a great job in sort of making it more complex, and you really cared about her story and her own personal, life in the film. And then finally, I have to say, Sly, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky. Um, Everyone's saying that he should get an Oscar nomination for supporting actor because he was a supporting role this time around. He's not the lead, uh, supporting at least the Oscar nom, if not the win for this movie. And hands down, he is, you can't really describe it. He is so, I mean, obviously he's played this role his whole career, but the level, the extent he goes to with his emotions in this film. There's two scenes in particular in this movie where you see really how great an actor Stallone is, and sadly, you can say his career, all the, you can say some bad choices he's made to not really unleash that talent. You can see he has. But there's two scenes in this film. I'm not going to obviously give any of them away, where just he, you feel so much for him just through the expression on his face in certain moments, and he, he honestly just really can't use words to describe how good he is. You just feel so much for his character because you've known his character for 40 years, and to see him going through what he's going through now and where he's at in his life, um, it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, it's uplifting to see this, fictional man we've come to know and love go through what he's going through. Yeah, just speechless, honestly, speechless. And I guess I'll lastly address which is always a big part of the Rocky movies, the fight scenes, the boxing scenes. Um, as I said, Ryan Coogler, who directed this, shot scenes in such a way. He did in more than a few sequences in this film, one take I'm not talking like a minute scene. I'm talking for probably was at least a 3 to 5 minute scene. And I'm not just talking about somebody walking around. I'm talking about an actual boxing match in one take, not just one round, multiple rounds. He did it in one take. Now, let me paraphrase. Excuse me. Make a correction. He didn't get it down in just one take and that was it. No, they had to do it multiple times to get it down in one take. What I mean is the camera never cut. The camera was on the sequence the entire time with no cuts, and they were able to make sequences happen that everyone had to be so on the ball with their marks to make it work. And not only does it work, it works. I keep using this word, phenomenal. The boxing scenes are that they're phenomenal. I've never seen scenes filmed like this before, at least for a boxing movie. They're just so electric and sort of intimate because it's not like a wide shot like the old Rocky movies. It's very close, but you really feel like you're in on the action and the choreography for the movie. One thing great about this film, as opposed to previous Rocky films, was when Rocky would get in the corner, you'd have Mickey or the other trainer go, okay, you got to run over him, you got to do this, you got to do that, or you're a tank. But in this movie, they really stressed the skill and intricacies of boxing. They'd be saying, okay, get in there, throw the jab, throw the cross, slip to right, slip left. It was more technical with boxing, which I think really sold the realism of the film. That's another part of it that works so well. It was so realistic uh, to the the story that nothing was really, you said, oh, that can't happen, or oh, come on, I don't buy that. No, everything in this movie, you thought, wow, yeah, this is a real story. This is real. Um, I guess the example that I can say is Rocky Four. I mean, come on, all those punches in a boxing match, that can't really happen in real life. They'd be dead. But this one really does a great job in grounding everything to where you believe it all can happen. Um, yeah, you know what? One last thing I want to say. The way Ryan Coogler captured the essence of Philadelphia, the city, um, where it was almost like another character in the movie, wonderful. Uh, the way he shot it, the way he went about certain scenes, because the bulk of the movie takes place in Philly, of course. Um, you, and trust me, I've grown up outside Philly my whole life in southern Jersey, but he really, not to sound corny, but captures romanticism of the city, which I don't really think the previous Rocky films had done, at least to this extent, and not as well done as this. Um, so I guess in conclusion, Creed is a phenomenal film. I strongly suggest you go out and see it. You will not be disappointed. You will laugh. You will cry probably a lot. And at the end, I guarantee you, you will clap because it is one of those movies that is just, it's why you go to the movies, to be taken in by something and to have your emotions put through the ringer at the end. You are left extremely satisfied by what you just saw. So, again, not to sound corny, but Creed's an excellent film, and I would be willing to bet it's going to get a lot of Oscar attention. Um, hey, you never know. The original Rocky won Best Picture 39 years ago. Why can't the new Creed do it too? Underdog story. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Hopefully, I didn't leave anything out or covered what I wanted, or maybe I should have. I wanted to leave a lot out because I don't want to give anything away because I want you to go to experience the movie based on this, my reaction to it. So hopefully you do, and you're going to enjoy. I guarantee it. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.